Hello, everybody. My name is Keisha, and it's really wonderful to be with you this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about healing abandonment, and this is part of the 30-day Radical Self Love series that I launched because self love is a radical act. And I very much feel that the earth at this time is calling for all of us to be in our power and to take our place, and I want to do my part to support folks in healing whatever's in the way of them fully realizing themselves. So, part of the gift that I have is channeling, and so I have an ability to really touch in with spirit and bring some higher wisdom or higher knowing to the planet. So, I'm going to kind of be going in and out of meditation as I share, I guess, my own healing journey around healing and abandonment. So I'm just going to kind of start by just touching in with the divine, with Creator, with Source, and really acknowledge Spirit in everything, including those hard moments in our lives. And it's in the name of the divine that I offer this insight. So when I'm asking kind of what is the impact of abandonment on the energetic body, one of the first insights that I'm receiving is that abandonment impacts our ability to walk our prayer or to walk our path. And what I'm getting is that part of what happens for people who have suffered abandonment is almost like the fear to move forward. Um, the image that I get is almost of someone who's walking and then the earth kind of falls off and they're afraid they're going to kind of fall off the earth. So it can kind of create stuck energy around moving forward on the path. I'm getting great affirmation from the geese. And so we'll also talk about healing abandonment, but I'd like to begin with an overview of the impact of abandonment on the energetic body. So again, in terms of walking the path, abandonment in some ways creates stuck energy or fear of moving forward because obviously the fear is you're going to be abandoned ultimately by the earth or by spirit. Abandonment also really impacts survival and how people are able to survive, especially if abandonment happens early, like in childhood. I just seen that at an energy level, abandonment can really create a shaky foundation for people. As you know, you can imagine a child depending on an adult for food, for housing, and if they're abandoned by someone who's supposed to take care of them, that ability to feel like you're held and that you're safe can also be undermined. Abandonment in the emotional body, that's the information I'm getting now. What that looks like often at an energy level or spiritual level is someone who maybe doesn't necessarily acknowledge what they're feeling. Um, it can be scary to actually acknowledge what you're feeling if you've survived abandonment, because part of surviving abandonment is what I'm getting at the spiritual level is denial. So it's kind of like that's not happening. They didn't mean it. And so as an adult, that can look like is someone who then really struggles with just acknowledging what they're actually feeling, and even acknowledging a truth that maybe they were actually abandoned. Looking again with regards to abandonment and power, I just get that one of the core impacts of abandonment on the energetic body in terms of power and how we use our power is very much powerlessness is what's coming up. Especially if you did not have any power in the situation where you were abandoned. it can kind of create, I get a lifelong journey around feeling powerful. Yeah. When I look at the impact of abandonment on the heart, on self love, I just get that someone who's experienced abandonment can really struggle with values, with feeling worthy, issues around self worth, because it's easy, for example, for a child to internalize abandonment. Well, I must have done something wrong. Something must be wrong with me. When really that's often not the case. It's really about the other person. But um, many of us project uh, the divine on our parents. And so, because that's in some ways our first engagement with a higher power, if you think about it. So what I get is that the internalization of abandonment can then translate to self-abandonment. I'm not worthy, so I'm not going to take care of myself. I must have done something wrong, so I'm going to punish myself. So we'll definitely talk about what it means to heal this. But that's kind of what I see, the impact of abandonment on the heart. Looking at kind of the inner voice, asking the source what the impact of abandonment is on communication. And I just get can really be a struggle for people who've experienced abandonment to actually ask for what they need, to even acknowledge what they need, because again it's kind of connected to self-worth. Do you feel worthy to ask for what you need? And then when I look at kind of like the sixth chakra, which is the clairvoyance, ability to see, I just get that one of the impacts of abandonment is a shattered perspective, that there can be almost like a preparation or assumption that that person will also abandon me, almost a readiness, a kind of fight or flight. Yeah, so a shattered perspective, an expectation almost, and then maybe some shielding or protectiveness around, fear of being abandoned again. And then finally, in the crown, which is our connection with Source, divine, all that is, all that was, God, life, love. Again, I just get that, you know, if our engagement with a parent or an adult or an elder, as a child translates to abandonment, we may then project that experience with Source. So will Spirit take care of us? Will Spirit be there for us? Will Spirit love us without condition? Are we worthy of Spirit? So, and I get that there's religious information that can come in on this as well, not just necessarily a childhood experience or an adult experience, but yeah, it's like, is Spirit really there? That's the question. So, I get that abandonment, how we get impacted by abandonment, is all about how we, if you think of abandonment as a story, it's all about how we engage with that story, how we internalize the story, what we do with the story. So the healing is that we have the power to take that story and turn it around. So what does it mean to then heal abandonment? So if I start again, kind of more around walking our path, what does it mean to then heal that? I get the word truth telling. I'm asking, what does that mean? And it's an acknowledgement that on some level, no matter what, you were born to do something. Like, and that which you were born to do is innate in you and doesn't get taken away by a circumstance. So, no matter what happened externally, it's in you. Your path is in you. And so I get like a lot of the work around healing with abandonment is acknowledgement. It's acknowledgement that I'm a child of creation. And no matter what happened, that doesn't change. Moving up to survival, I just get healing abandonment in the survival. It's kind of an acknowledgement again of like what you've survived so far. You're still here. And you may be on a healing journey, and that's fine, but you survived and you're here, and many others haven't. And that's amazing. And it looks like just an acknowledgement that you survived for a reason. Looks like healing abandonment in the emotional body and even the sexual body. It's about remaining present, is what the words are that I'm getting. So I'm asking, what does that mean? Healing from abandonment is the spirit. It's a spiritual practice of remaining present to what you're actually feeling. So you don't have to abandon yourself. You don't have to deny what you're feeling. Self-denial is a form of abandonment, is what I'm getting. And so healing is really about staying present to yourself and what you're feeling and acknowledging your needs and validating that it's okay to have them. Healing of your power, I'm getting, because powerlessness is one of those core issues that kind of gets dug up for folks who've dealt with abandonment. I get that healing is about acknowledging the power that you do have in present time. I mean, there can be many circumstances all over the world you can imagine where people really don't have power, whether that's a sweatshop or, systemic poverty, or, I mean, there are situations in the world where people really have systems that are at play. So, but even in those circumstances, what I get is that it's even saying to other people, we're in this together, let's come together and figure out what we can do in this situation. It's finding the power that we have. And for me, that's almost the work of my ancestors. You know, the power that they had in the context of slavery was prayer, you know. So, and intention, that maybe there'll be a day where this is no longer. And isn't it amazing that we're now living that time? I get healing abandonment in the heart. I just get that it can be really scary to take the risk to love another when you've been abandoned or feeling abandoned. And I get, at minimum, at least give yourself permission to experience for maybe 5 minutes a day, maybe even more, your own love. To really just sit and just receive your own love. You know, again, you don't have to abandon yourself because you were abandoned. And I just get that as you experience your own love and experience yourself as safe, then you can then move to maybe take the risk to share love with someone else and experience someone else as safe. And so from that internal place, your love then can go out into the world. So again, we're focusing on healing abandonment. And when I was asking about healing the inner voice, I just get that it's just about telling yourself the truth. That's a big thing, especially when you've been coping with denial to really survive. But it's telling yourself the truth, maybe around what happened, maybe it's telling yourself the truth around what you're feeling. It's remaining present to your truth in every circumstance in your life. and telling yourself the truth around what's happening, or at least your perception of what's happening. And even taking the risk at some point to check in with someone else to see what is happening for them as well. So it's remaining present. And that has to do also with the sixth chakra and the seeing and how you see the world. And there's a place where the abandoned self engages with present time. And so I just get that what's important around healing perspective when you've been abandoned is checking in. Is that what's happening? If someone doesn't want to go hang out, for example, or it's checking in with that person, like what's happening, and really kind of testing assumptions. And finally, I get with the crown around healing abandonment with spirit. I just get that what can be helpful is to have some sort of daily practice, a meditation or something, where you really sit and ask spirit, your understanding of spirit, why am I important to you? Why do you need me to survive? Because I just get, when you understand that there's a reciprocal relationship between you and spirit, that spirit can't abandon you because otherwise spirit would be abandoning itself. As you grow and into a trusting, loving, unconditional relationship with spirit, understanding that you were always held and you will always be held, you can take the projection off of spirit of your experience of abandonment with humans and then have a healthy, functional relationship with the divine. So that's what I had to have on healing abandonment. I hope that's helpful and insightful, and I'm really excited about this 30-day self-love series, and I'm so glad you joined me. And again, self-love is a radical act. Many blessings.